So, TheInsaneGamefreak here to bring you an anime review. Yeah. AnoHana, the flower we saw that day. So yo, what's up guys, TheInsaneGamefreak here to bring you an anime review of AnoHana. Pretty much, and it's funny because I'm actually reviewing this the day after I finished the series. I actually ran through the bitch in one day, and I'm kind of just going off of that, and we're just going to review it straight. Because ironically, I didn't need to let this stew in my mind for too long. So AnoHana is an 11 episode series, which shocked the fuck out of me. Yeah, it's actually pretty short. I thought it was actually longer than that, but apparently it's only 11 episodes. You can stream the episodes on Crunchyroll, which for more or less is what I suggest you doing, unless you really want to spend the $50, borderlining $60. Well, it's not really $60 if you know where to shop, but $50-something on Right Stuff for the premium Blu-ray DVD combo pack. But what AnoHana is basically about is that you have this main character named Jitan. Jitan had a group of friends when he was younger. It was him, this little white girl with like silver hair named Minma, Popo, Anojo, and I'm gonna fuck these last two names up because let's just say it goes towards the merit of the show. Tsuruko Yukitatsu. That's bad when I gotta pull out the fucking book to fucking remember these characters' names. The way the anime kind of starts is that Jitan's on some bullshit because he's seeing Minma in his house. And the reason why this is weird is, for one, she has her own family. Two, she's fucking dead. The premise of the series is that you have these 5 friends who have known each other since childhood. Minma, unfortunately, died when she was younger, which I guess was the trigger for the reason why these characters kind of drifted apart. Because as they're older, none of them really hang out with each other much, except for like the 2 little groups, like Tsuruko and Yukimatsu hang out, and then like everyone else is just kind of around. I don't know, apparently her death caused this split within the group, and Jinta wakes up one morning seeing her, kind of like, what the fuck is going on? He actually initially, when he wakes up, he thinks that she's like a manifestation of his summer stress, a hallucination. And the premise of the show is really he's trying to figure out, why the fuck is she just there? Like, what the fuck is going on? Why am I seeing a dead friend from like, it doesn't even really specify how long it's been, but like, I guess 10 years, I don't fucking know. And that's the premise of the show. It's just that simple. Apparently she has this wish that needs to be granted, and he spends the majority of the series just trying to figure out what the hell that wish is, while getting kind of reconnected with his old friends from his childhood. In terms of the character dynamic, I didn't mean to laugh at that, but you'll see in a second. In terms of the character dynamic, Jinta apparently is like this closed shut-in who doesn't even go to school anymore. He's just kind of there. Popo is this like eccentric traveler who doesn't go to school and kind of travels all over the world, but like stays in like their old clubhouse. Anjo actually goes to the same school as Jitan, but it's kind of like this. It's very weird. She hangs out with like all these snobby kind of gongoro looking girls, but she for her herself is kind of a timid nerd. That's the best way to describe her. Yukimatsu is like the sports guy, and then like Tsuruko is like this dead face smart girl. And the thing about the show, personally for me, is that a lot of people view this show to be like this amazing piece of artwork and this emotional clicking. And a lot of people will sit here and tell you that the connection is so deep and great and shit. And personally for me, I don't find it that great. Also, if you've watched Anonatsu de Matoru, which I think aired like a few months ago, finished airing like a few months ago, you'll notice a huge bunch of similarities in terms of like set pieces and even character designs. Like Kaito looks almost exactly like fucking Jinta in some ways. You can totally see the art style and even some of the set pieces in the anime relating to that show, even though this show obviously came first. And here's my thing, though. People, as I said, they view it as this great emotional connecting story because it's kind of like these friends who lost each other through the death of their friend, through their friends like ghost form fucking with Jinta, they're able to reconnect. It's not even that, it doesn't even happen that way, and that's the problem that kind of ticks me off about the show. The first thing I thought was really dumb is that it took 8 episodes before Minma even like made it obvious that she was there, because literally the first 8 episodes are literally her being there but no one believing Jinta that he's there except for Popo. Everyone else just kind of, and I know everyone's gonna make a Popo joke, that's just, can we get past it? Ha ha ha, it's like the dude from Dragon Ball Z, oh he's dark skinned, ha 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 ha. Okay, we're done, we're good, let's move on. Like the first 8 episodes, it's kind of like he's saying she's there and she wants to like, he wants to fulfill her wish even though she doesn't even know what it is, and then like them not believing him. Like there's a few scenes you'll keep seeing Yukimatsu grab him by the shirt going, or either grab him by the shirt or other characters and him telling him that him telling Jinta that, oh, you need to stop playing these games, you're stuck in the past. You hear that phrase a lot in this show. It's ridiculous. And it's not like the show's bad. Let me just go on right now and just state that on the record. I don't think the show's bad, but the show is severely, to me, not worth all the attention it got. Mind you, it's very emotional, and personally, the way I felt about this show is kind of how I felt about Conad in a sense, where I didn't necessarily hate it, but I wasn't necessarily, I was kind of indifferent to the show. The thing that helps this series is that by episode 9, 10, and 11, to me, pushed it back up to being a pretty decent series, because that's where all the climactic stuff happens. You know, in these types of shows, you know, usually we keep going over which characters like who, what are the issues that happened when they were children, what quirks or issues do they have now, and the problem, that's one of the big things, this anime doesn't have any exposition half the time. Like, half the time, we're literally just watching random shit go on and, like, them doing random things, or them being on this Jinta, you're crazy, you need to chill the fuck out, all this dumb shit. And I'm not going to tell you who likes who, because it ruins kind of a part of the enjoyment, even though some of it's kind of obvious. Even it's even obvious to the point, but by the time they fucking actually reveal it, you're kind of just like, eh. And my whole thing is, AnoHana is one of those animes that you can sit down and you can watch and you can enjoy, but you'll never say it is as good as other things. Like, as of right now, I don't view AnoHana better than Ano Natsude Matoru, because the characters are kind of flat here. I think it's Suriku. Yeah, Surika. I'm probably mispronouncing her name, I just pronounced it at the beginning of this fucking review. Suriku, the girl with the glasses, I think is pretty dead in terms of character. Popo is pretty dead in terms of character. Yukiatsu, Anjo, Jinta are like probably the 3 straightest. And Jinta's character doesn't, it's just like, and then the thing is, and then when you actually find out about Minma's wish at the end, not even at the end, like within the last few episodes, her wish is so stupid compared to what's supposed to go down. Because in a show like this, what you would expect to happen is that you kind of delve into each one of these characters, and you don't do that. What you do is you dick around with Jinta and Minma a little bit, and you see Popo acting all cheerful and shit, Anjo kind of going back and forth with her emotions and shit, and it's like, it's just kind of, it's not fun to watch. None of these, there are like fun moments. Like, I thought the beginning was pretty decent, because the beginning has a whole bunch of old school references. Like, they had a Pokemon parody at the beginning of the fucking series, like, because they thought one of her wishes may have been to catch this rare Pokemon, even though in the anime it's called Nokamon, which they didn't try that hard to parody the fuck out of that, did they? They literally just said Nokamon, like, really? But it's like, that was one of her wishes, and it's like that scene where they're kind of like, it's like him, Anjo, and Popo are trying to like play the game and get this Pokemon or Nokamon. That was cool, but the problem is that they spent so much time having all these random Minma moments. Let's get into Minma real quick. Minma, the way Minma acts is like an airhead. She acts like an airhead, period. Like, and it doesn't make sense, because when she died, she was little. But for some reason, when she came back as a ghost, she aged. But she looked almost virtually the same, except for she was just a little bit taller and looked a little bit more mature. But for some reason, she still has like the mind of a 5-year-old. I mean, there are scenes where she kind of doesn't understand things. Like, she doesn't understand, things that have changed in the town that they grew up in because she was dead. But there are other things that just don't make any sense. Like, she doesn't act mature at all. She doesn't even act like she's the age she's supposed to be. But the one thing they have Mima do a lot, and it gets kind of jarring, and I kind of just don't emotionally give a shit after a point. They have Mima cry a lot. Mima cries all the fucking time. I swear to God. It's not even like the scenes that she's crying in aren't scenes I would expect her to cry in. It's just that it's like literally you have like joke Mima and like crying Mima. She's never serious. There's like one time she's serious at the end of the series. She's serious like within the last 2 episodes. Other than that, she's just kind of like between joke and crying. That's all you ever see Mima. And it's just aggravating. It's not aggravating. It's just dull. It gets jarring. You get desensitized of seeing her cry. So the emotional scene at the end wasn't that emotional. The other issue, now to expand upon the whole exposition thing, because a lot of people are going to be like, I expect a lot of hate for this review. But the only thing I want to talk about in terms of exposition, they never really go in on the characters. Like, you know how animes have that tendency of going like, we'll leave the rest up to you. Like, they'll leave blanks for you to kind of just fill it in with your own mind and kind of leave it up to interpretation. That's the term I'm looking for. This anime does that way too fucking much. Like, there's a scene where Jinta is like this closed shut-in. They never explain why. Honestly, there's this whole thing about him blaming himself. He doesn't even blame himself for the death because I don't even think he was there. He was, and that's the other thing. We never get to see how Mima died, even though we see all these fucking flashbacks for them being kids. And that's the other thing I need to bring up. This anime kind of throws out that whole idea that we're going to see a lot of flashbacks of when they were children, which could have been used to develop their traits and how much they've changed. You had them when they were kids. Then the accident happened, you have them as like older teenagers. They don't fucking do that. We see like 3 damn flashbacks, 3 different flashbacks. The first one is this random beetle catching scene, and then like the other one is the famous when Anjo as a little girl asks Jinta as a little boy, asking him, "Do you like Mima?" And then him being a typical 10-year-old boy being like, how could you like such an ugly... And then he cuts himself off and you expect Mima to be crying. She's not. Little girl Mima is just smiling. And then he runs off. And then we see a third flashback which extends that. Those are the only 3 I fucking remember. And I think there's maybe like one more that talks about their little group, the Super Buster Peace Corps, I believe is what it was called. I think that was like the only 4 flashbacks. But none of these flashbacks develop their characters. And it's like, I can't really see the change in between the character. I think the only blatantly obvious one was Jinta. And that was just because he's like the leader of the group when they were younger. And obviously he's like this closed-in shut-in. The other characters don't get development for the flashbacks. So it was like, what the fuck is the point of making that seem like a central theme? They even bring it up again at the last episode. And I was like, this would have meant more if you would have done something with it. Also, Popo and Popo and Suriko don't even go through that little emotional mental thing until like the last damn episode. Like literally they're kind of just in the dark at the time. Now, if you've seen enough anime, you're able to assume how at least one Popo just threw me off so badly with his, because you know how if you've seen Toradora, or animes where they have this climactic emotional drag out where all the characters are kind of throwing out their emotions, not giving a fuck anymore. It's like they do that here in the last episode. And it works for the better of the series, but just like there was no build-up for some of these characters. Like Suriko and Popo, to me, had the least amount of build-up for their little breakdown. Whereas I could kind of believe Anjo and Yukiyatsu and even Jintan's. I don't like that. I also like how I'm complaining a lot. I am complaining a lot about this series. I do think this series has a bunch of funny moments, some cute moments, with Minma being stupid, even though you're supposed to be the same age. So I don't know why you're being stupid. She's acting like she's 5. I'm like, what's the point of having her? Why did the creators decide to age her if it didn't do anything for her personality? She just seemed, so what? She looks the same age as everyone is, but she acts almost virtually the same. What the fuck was the point? I feel like there's a lot of missed opportunities here. And the thing is, AnoHana is, it's one of those shows that has a good premise, had a good set of potential. I mean, and it did fairly well. I mean, the fact that I gave a shit for those last 3 episodes says enough. Now, I didn't cry, and that's one of the reasons why I didn't record me watching the ending, because I didn't cry. I felt the emotional connection by the end of it, but it was just, it was cut off too short, and there wasn't enough exposition. I don't feel like we should have wasted like the first 8 episodes on a whole bunch of dicking around. I think the only good thing that came out of the first few episodes is kind of just establishing the characters, having some of the characters banter, and then maybe the whole thing with Yukiyatsu that shows up, I think it was at like 4 and 5 and 6, somewhere around those episode numbers. The thing with Yukiyatsu that kind of pops up. It's like there are good moments in AnoHana in general, and I think the last 3 episodes were good. It's just, there are a lot of things they could have done, and a lot of more development they could have did for these characters, and I probably would have liked it more. And what bugs me more is Popo's, really, because Popo's breakdown led into something that would have been like, that pisses you off, because literally Popo's breakdown and his guilt and the issue he has relating to the whole Minma tragedy thing when they were younger stems from something we never get to see. His shit stems from her death, which we never get to see. We don't even know how she died. The only thing I can assume is that we keep seeing the scene of like a shoe in the water next to like this lake, so my logic just brings in she drowned or she fell in the water or some shit. They even throw some emotional shit in with her mother, which I thought that was well done. So it's not like I hate the show. It's just that there's a lot of missed opportunities, and I felt like they threw too much blank information. No, they didn't give us enough information on the characters, and they didn't show enough of the flashbacks to flesh out the characters, which I assumed is what the flashbacks are for. The flashbacks just came off redundant, because you see that whole fucking who would like an ugly girl Minma smiling scene like 4, 5, 6, 8, 10 fucking times. You see it a lot, and it's just like, why? Fucking why? And it's because, and then honestly, the first 8 episodes kind of blend in together with me because of that. But that's just my view on AnoHana. I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this. I still view Ano Natsude Mataru better, because each of the characters had their own issues. Also, I do like the whole love issue in AnoHana, how it is different from other dramas where they don't have, you know, one guy liking this other girl and this other girl liking this other guy. They actually have, I think, 2 out of the 3 guys like the same girl. I'll give you that much of a hint. 2 of the 3 guys in the series like the same girl, and they don't even do anything romantic with the 3rd guy. And then the 2 girls like the 2 guys that are in love with the same girl, which isn't them. But as I said, AnoHana as a whole, it's okay. I would say watch it. I think it's an okay watch. I don't think it was worth buying. Do I regret buying it? No. If it was shit, if it was Kanokan, let's put it this way, if it was Kanokan levels of bad, then I'd be pissed. Even though I don't think it's worth buying, I'm not necessarily angry that I bought it. But I don't view it as highly as everyone else does. That's just my view on it. But leave your thoughts and your comments in the comment section below. If I get a lot of hate, I get a lot of hate. I explained my case. I explained my review of the series. I think it's an okay series. I think you can watch it on Crunchyroll. That's my best suggestion. It's 11 episodes. It's short as hell. Watch it on Crunchyroll. View it for yourself. But anyways, this has essentially been an Insane Gamefreak anime review. Leave your thoughts, comments, video responses in the comment section below. Tell me all that fun shit. If you liked the video, thank you, and subscribe to the Gamefreak anime review show if you want to see more reviews like this. So, or to be notified of my newer reviews coming. So that's it. Life's a game. Play to win, and I'll catch you guys later.